Hi everyone, in this video we are going to talk about how to finish PhD in 3 years. And now I joined with Chaturani. She finished her PhD within 3 years with teaching responsibility. This is the video not to miss. If you are new to this channel, I'm Budi, a 4th year PhD student at the University of Leicester, and in this channel I create videos on PhD student tips. Please consider subscribing and hit the notification button, that way you won't miss anything. Okay, Chaturani, thank you for having me today. Please tell us more about your PhD.
I started my PhD in 2016. I joined as a GTA, Graduate Teaching Assistant at University of Leicester. That is a scholarship. Initially PhD for 4 years and 4 years, and Graduate Teaching Assistant, that is also for 4 years. That means I had to do a PhD and the teaching also for 4 years.
So PhD and GTA at the same time?
Yes.
How is the arrangement of being a PhD and at the same time you are a GTA with a teaching responsibility?
The reason is, compared to other PhD students, the graduate teaching assistants, we have compulsory teaching. Normally 6 to 7 hours per week can be seminar teaching. Normally seminar teaching. So, and during the marking time, you have marking as well for the seminars that you have done or that you have conducted. So it is compulsory. So every semester you have, but it is depend on the workload. Some divisions that if you cover all your workload within 1 semester, then you will be free in the next semester. But when it comes to me, I had the teaching throughout the year, so both semesters.
All the semesters?
All the semesters.
So what enforced you to finish your PhD within 3 years?
First thing, the main reason that I wanted to finish my PhD in 3 years, basically for funding. So like funding and the workload. When you need to do your PhD with teaching workload, you will feel like it's a very heavy workload. So it's very difficult to manage. So that is one of the reasons that I wanted to finish PhD within 3 years. The second thing is the funding. So the funding means like as GTAs, even though you finish your main research component within 3 years, you can't go for the writing up period because of your contract. So you have to pay the tuition fee for the 4th year as well. That is also the funding requirement. At the same time, the most of my essential work I have done according to my deadlines, and I met my deadline. So I didn't have any other reason to drag my time. I met all my deadlines, so that I was able to finish within 3 years.
Now please tell us about your journey in the first year of your PhD.
Okay, so in first year, like with other same as other universities, we had modules to follow. I think 4 modules to follow. We followed that 4 modules, and we had some assignments and essays to write. But at the same time, we had to prepare for our probationary review. So we had to finish at the end of our first year. But I completed my probationary review within 9 months.
9 months?
Yeah, so I requested to have my probationary review in 9 months. So as a result of that, within 10 months, I finished my probationary review. Then at the same time, I submitted my ethical application. It was approved. But it was not easy, but my supervisors helped me a lot at that time. It was a rigorous process. For example, like when we submit, they ask some questions and we had to send answers. So I didn't stay the 24 hours sending answers. So sometime if I receive a reply or the question today, so the same day I send the reply.
Okay. So in the first year, attending a modules and then preparing your probationary review and then finish it and then ethical approval. What else you have done in the...
At the same time, I presented papers in conferences as well.
Conferences? You attended the conferences?
Yes.
Okay.
So it is very important to attend conferences from the beginning of your PhD journey. because even though you don't present anything, it is the place that you meet the people who do the same kind of research.
Okay.
It might not be the same theme, but you will meet people
with the similar interest.
So it is very important. So in the next conference, probably you will meet the same people. So that it is the place to meet people.
So joining the community of your field.
Yeah, so that is very important as a researcher.
What else you did in the first year?
My fieldwork preparation.
Fieldwork?
The fieldwork activities. With the help of my supervisors. So I prepared all the documents that I need for fieldwork, because according to the university regulations, you can't go for fieldwork without ethical approval. So within 1 month, I got the ethical approval. So by that time, I finished all the preparation for fieldwork. So because for the ethical approval, you need to submit fieldwork documents.
Yeah. So that was quick actually, 1 month.
Yeah. But I told you, like, I submitted the answers the same day when I received the response. It
took me 1 week actually sometimes to answer the ethical question.
Sometimes because my supervisor, whenever I received the response, sometimes I just send him a mail like, I need to meet you. So he said, okay, you can meet me. So we sit down and we discuss the answer and we reply. So he helped me a lot. Then by the time I got the approval, I had all the documents that I need, that I need for the fieldwork. By the end of my first year, so preparation for fieldwork was completed. So then I was ready for the fieldwork.
What was your JTA-ship in the first year of your PhD?
According to the regulations and the contract, the first year, the JTA is only for shadowing. Shadowing means it's just a training. Like you participate in trainings. So like for example, like we have compulsory course to follow, like preparing for teaching in higher education. That is compulsory course. And other than that, every semester you need to shadow 2 modules, either postgraduate or undergraduate. That means you visit lectures as well as seminars, and you see how the lecturers are conducting lectures and seminars or the tutorials, and that is a training. So that's how you gain experience for the following year.
Back to our topic on how to finish your PhD in 3 years. What's your next strategy?
The next thing is the deadlines.
The deadline?
Yes. So basically, like if you want to finish your PhD within 3 years, you need to be strict on deadlines.
Strict on deadlines.
Yes, especially like if you have teaching responsibilities. For example, like it is not like other PhDs who have, like there are some normal PhD students, other PhD students, they don't have compulsory teaching responsibilities. If they want, they can take. But for us, it is compulsory. You have to take it. So you need to have your own discipline, like your own deadlines. For example, like even if you go to field work, you can't be away from the university for so many days or so many months. You have to return back to the country to take up your teaching responsibilities. But it doesn't mean that you can't go. You have to manage your time with having some advisors from the university. So for me, I got only 4 months.
4 months field work?
4 months field work. But in that 4 months also, I skip only 1 week teaching. So that means I went to field work during vacation period. Because when you are a JTA, you feel that you are responsible to the university, because like you are responsible to the university, to the students and all. So that you can't just go away from that responsibility.
So you talk about the deadline that your activity as a PhD and as a JTA was increasing in the second year. I mean, your research is going further, and then your responsibility for teaching coming up.
So the reason is like in second year, your teaching responsibilities are going up, increasing. So what you need to do, like for example, when I returned from field work, then normally I had 6 to 7 hours, 6 to 8 hours teaching per week. So what I had done, if I'm teaching in the morning, or evening, or sometimes evening and teaching in the morning and both. I decided, okay, if I am teaching in the morning, after 12, after lunch, I do my PhD work only. So other than that, no, I'm not going to touch teaching matters.
Okay.
But if I'm teaching in the evening, I do my PhD work in the morning. So same as with marking.
Yeah.
So for example, if I have 200 papers or something like that, or 150 papers
To mark.
yeah, to mark, I count how many papers and how many days, and check how many papers I should mark in a day. So then I have my own discipline, like okay, if I need to mark 15 to 20 papers per day, I finish. Normally what I do, like I do the marking in the morning and do PhD work in the evening. So normally I used to leave the university after 9-10 in the night. So until such time I used to work the PhD. So anyway, you have to balance, because you have to be responsible for both teaching as well as the PhD.
That's really impressive scheduling. I mean, you have a really tight deadlines, and with your lot of responsibilities, with your a lot of activities as a PhD, and at the same time you are a GTA with a lot of teaching responsibilities, teaching, marking, and the like. So it's really hard. I can imagine how did you balance between research and teaching at the same time.
You need to ensure that you do everything, because I know it is not impossible, but in between you need to manage everything.
That's not an easy job. You need to manage everything and ensure that everything comes together perfectly. That's horrible. Okay, what else did you do in the second year?
Other than the fieldwork and the teaching, I started data analysis.
Data analysis.
Yeah, so initially I started data transcribing, and then I used different techniques and started data analysis. At the same time, I started writing. So the analysis writing, something that I always believe, it is an iterative process. So that you just like, it doesn't mean like you finish transcribing analysis and finish and then you go for writing. It's not like that. So I started analysis. The analysis period is somewhat tough period, because you don't know like what will come out and how to theorize data, something like that. So the latter part of the second year I use for data analysis.
Okay, so the next journey of your PhD, the last year, probably the toughest one of your PhD.
Last year, mainly for the finishing up the writing the thesis and completing the JTA-ship and marking and everything. And at the same time, I wanted to attend all the main conferences. In the third year, I specifically requested from my division to allocate me the subjects which have less coursework but with exams. Like that means no assignments, but subject is with exams or the final exam. So that will reduce my workload, because when it comes to assignments, the time that we spend during to mark is quite high. So thankfully my head of the division, he agreed, he allocated subjects like that. So in my third year, so at the same time I was wrapping up I was writing. So but that the third day was not the easy period, because I had to write some of the chapters. I had to write 5 times. Same chapter.
Same chapters.
If not actually not revising some of the chapters, rewrite. So sometimes the one of my.
So you have 5 versions of one chapter.
The one chapter 5 versions.
5 versions of one chapter.
Chapters. Like that, the one of the advices I got from one of the professors, when I told him like I don't feel it is good, then he said then rewrite. So it's not revised, it is I rewrote it. So it's rewrote. But by the way, like then you will feel one day, okay, now it is good. Anyway, that you can't make it perfect, but one day you will say, okay, it is presentable. It is good enough. It is good enough to present. But in the third year, you can't take entire 12 months of the third year to write. So you need to write, and you need to revise it. You need to get the supervisor's comments. You need to proofread it if you want. For that process, you need at least 3 to 4 months. Like after you complete your thesis writing, the revision, proofreading, wrapping up everything, you need at least 4 months.
4 months. In my experience, revising is harder than writing. So how did you deal with revising thesis draft?
Yes, the revising is harder. The reason is you write but revise because based on someone else's comments. So the reason is you don't know what they mean. For that, frankly I say, rather than depending on the comments that they give, if you can meet your supervisor face to face, meet and ask what do you mean. I used to meet and sometime I ask, sorry, I don't understand what you meant, so can you please explain. So sometimes he explained the same in different ways just to explain what he meant. If you don't understand anything, it is your duty to ask for clarifications.
Okay, so what is your suggestion for PhD student who wants to finish PhD in 3 years?
The first thing that is not important whether you want to finish it in 3 years or not. The one of the main thing for the writing especially, they use good reference in software. So use it because in PhD you use more than 500, 600, 700 references. So you need to have proper reliable software to manage your thesis. So
that will help you a lot.
That will help you a lot, not only for your PhD, but after that all the publications. Then the other thing is, there is nothing called perfect thesis. So what is important is finish within the time framework and within 3 years. So the completion is the most important thing.
So there is no perfect thesis?
No.
And because the important one is
completion. Completion, because always you will have revisions, so the revise it. There is nothing called perfect thesis. The more you drag, the more you feel boring, so complete it on time.
Well, Chaturani, thank you anyway for all your suggestions, for all your stories. If you find this video useful, just hit the like button and consider subscribing. We'll see you again next time.